couple months ago, myself, Brandon, and New Age Server Alarm did a tour of this management center on my server. Today we're going to be taking a deeper look into how all of the redstone works in this building. So here's the management building right here, guys. Still super pretty looking. Look at that beautiful building right there. Alright, the first thing I want to talk about redstone in this place is these lamps right here in this little entry area. As you can see right now, they're off, and you can also see it's daytime. Now, if I set the time to night, check that out. They turn on right like that. Very nice. Now, how does that work? Well, let me show you. Underground right here, inside of a spawn chunk, or the spawn chunk, I guess there is only one. Right here we have a daylight sensor. Now above it is a window with a, it's a green piece of glass with green carpet over it, just to kind of blend it into the grass. However, that does let enough light, or it lets light through so that the daylight sensor actually works. Now, when the daylight sensor is on, or when it's day, it is outputting a redstone signal to the command blocks on the top row of each of these arrays. As you can see, each area on the server has its own array. So we have Spawn Village, over here we have Downtown Spawn, over here we have Boss Amusement. This is still a very early work in progress, but it's here. It's got lights already. So the command blocks responsible for turning on and off the lights outside of the server management center are in this array somewhere. I'm going to set the time to day so you can actually get an idea of how this works. So as you saw right there, redstone signal came out of the daylight sensor, and I have a repeater here just so everything turns on and off at the same time. That's why I have repeaters on the back of everything, because for those who don't know, depending on the time of day, the amount of redstone signal output the daylight sensor generates, and I just threw a redstone block, my bad. The amount of power this thing generates depends on what time of day it is, so I always just want it having the most amount of output going right like that. So as I mentioned before, when that happens and the top row of command blocks is powered, all of the lights are off. And this used to be something which I'll talk more about in a later video. It's for a new project. Anyway, top row is powered, that turns all of the lights off around the world. Now when it's nighttime, as you can see, it inverses and the bottom row gets powered, and that is what turns on the lighting. Pretty simple stuff, but that's how it works. So moving inside the actual building now, check this out. We've got lights everywhere. We've got lights in the fountain, we have lights right here under the carpet, we have lights in the wall, we have lights right here under this picture I took with an iPhone. Well, let me put that back really quick, there we go. And yeah, we've got lights pretty much everywhere in this building. Now the reason for that is because we originally just tried to have those lights up there, but because the ceiling is so high in this place, it just didn't output enough light. It barely made a difference. So we put lights in the floor and in the walls in areas that looked good. Now I actually think the lights in the walls kind of add to the architecture of this building, because this isn't something you see very often. I think it looks pretty cool. And this is also like part of the reason why I switched back to the torch design and made like a custom map type deal for it, because we were having an issue where redstone lamps, back when I was using them as strobes, would be way too close to redstone lamps that we were using as lights. So that's one of the reasons I went back to that. Another reason is latency, but maybe I'll get into that in another video. Anyway, all of these lights somehow need to be turned off, right? Let me go ahead and show you what's in my office. So over here in my office, as you can see, we have 4 buttons, and they are labeled basement, ground, level 2, and level 3. These are lighting zones. There's 4 of them. The basement's the parking garage, ground floor is the entry level 2 is the level that I'm on right now, and then level 3 is the level above. Now, I'm gonna go ahead and turn all of these off. If I can, there we go. There we go. All of them are off, and as you can see, all the indicators for them are off as well. Now, if we go out here, as you can see, it does work. All the lights are off, even all the ones in the floor, and in the walls, and in the fountain, everywhere. All of the lights are off. Now, if we go ahead and take a look behind the buttons, as you can see, there is only 2 command blocks per zone. Basically, all it does is turn the lights on or turn the lights off. just 2 command blocks. And for those wondering, the bedrock above the command block basically just turns on the indicator. As you can see, it gets turned into redstone. Now, I'm going to go ahead and turn on just the ground floor and head out into this hallway right here. As you can see, the lights are still off here on the 2nd floor, but down here, we have light. We've got the lights above the elevator, we have the lights in the fountain, we have the lights under the carpet even, and the lights under the pictures. So that's pretty cool. Right, let me go ahead and explain how I did this. So right here in this room we have a really crappy looking lighting controller. It doesn't look too good. Basically this was just an experiment that I was doing, and it ended up working pretty well, so I just kind of left it. I could make it look better, but because no one's ever going to see this except myself and you watching the video. So as you can see in here, there are 5 arrays of command blocks. Right here we have my office, and I will get into why there's a row of redstone blocks above it in just a second. Over here you have the ground level, and then level 2, level 3, and the parking garage right there. So that's all 4 of the main zones plus my office. Now, this system is very similar to how the worldwide automatic lighting control works. Basically, the concept is, say you turn on the ground level lights. It sets a redstone block here, all of these command blocks on the top row get power, and then the lights come on. Now, the way the lights come on is with fill commands. Now, this is kind of a not good way of doing it. There is a better way to do this, which I actually used in the newest project that me and Brandon are working on. We should have a video on that hopefully within a month or 2. It's pretty killer. You're not going to want to miss it. Anyway, basically when the lights come on, it fills redstone blocks to, let me see if I can, why is it not, there we go. It fills redstone blocks to replace bedrock. Now I use bedrock because we don't use that in building architecture, so it'll search, this area right here for bedrock, and if it sees any bedrock, it'll turn into a redstone block, and that's how the lights turn on. And that's also how they turn off, except instead of scanning for bedrock and replacing it with a redstone block, it instead looks for a redstone block and replaces it with bedrock. Hopefully I said that right. Hopefully that makes sense, but that's how the fill replace command works. Pretty simple, but it does work quite well. Now, going into why there is a row of redstone blocks above my office array type deal here, instead of just a single block, let me show you. Back in my office, I'm going to go ahead and turn these lights off. So there we go, lights are off, right? Head back there. As you can see, it's now bedrock. Now watch this. When I turn on the basement lights, my office lights come back on. And I cannot figure out why it sets a redstone block there. There are no command blocks in the parking garage zone that have that. It's really weird. I've got no idea why it does that. But yeah. It just happens. It's pretty freaking annoying, but that's what happens. So basically, what would happen was the switch for the lights in that office would set a redstone block right there, and it would also switch that to bedrock when I turn them off. Now, obviously, with this block being bedrock and this one being redstone block right here, it's still gonna get power. So I was like freaking out. I was like, why the heck are the lights still on? And then I came down here and I was like, yo, how come there's a friggin' redstone block there? And I still haven't figured it out. I've got no idea why. So to get around that, I just did a fill command. As you can see, now they're all redstone blocks. And I believe it actually happens when I turn off the basement as well. No, it doesn't. See, that's what's weird. Let's break that. Go ahead and hit off again. Nothing. Turn them on. There it is. I've got no explanation why that happens. It drives me absolutely insane, but there's not really anything I can do about it, unfortunately. Now, while we're on the topic of lighting, I did want to mention that these zones only apply to common areas, like hallways here. As you can see, Brandon's office is still turned off because it's not a common area. It's got its own light switch, just like my office does. Oh, there it is. Coming over here to the conference room. This is our nice conference room. This room actually has two lighting zones and closable blinds. So close the blinds. Oh gosh, I can never remember which button does it. There we go. Top button. Blinds are closed. I'm gonna go ahead and turn the house lights on. So as you can see, we've got the house lights turned on. There are also lights under some of the carpet right here. I'm not entirely sure where, but there are. And then we also have the stage downs. Now, come on. There it is. The stage downs, this is what you would use if you're standing up here giving a presentation, you know, stand on top of the podiums. Why not? But, you know, you can just stand here with the stage downs turned on and have the rest of the room dark where your audience would be sitting. Now, when I originally had planned this out, I was planning on having another command block array in with the other controllers for the rest of the lighting in the building. But instead of doing that, I decided to just do it the easy way, I guess. If you look down here, as you can see, we have two sets of command blocks. One of them is for the house lights, one of them is for the stage lights. And it works quite well. The switches, or the buttons up there, just set and replace redstone blocks down here. So, as you can see here, got a redstone block powering these two command blocks, and right across from them we have two more command blocks, which, when this redstone block goes away, these command blocks lose power, and then the torches come on and power the command blocks across from them, turning the lights off. Hopefully that makes sense. It's pretty late at night right now, and I'm trying to explain this without sounding like a total retard, but you know what? It's gonna happen sometimes. It's okay. But yeah, that's how the multi-zone lighting in this room works. There are no command blocks down here for the blinds. That's just a simple fill command right behind the buttons. Going back to the uncommon areas and not being on that multi-zone lighting thing, the attic's another one of those. The switches is just right here. The switch is just right there, as you can see, because this isn't really a public access area. However, if you come over here, check that out right there, you can actually see how the room layout is, I guess. So under here is one of the offices, and this is basically all the lighting is for the rooms here. It's just a redstone block that gets either set or removed and just powers the ceiling lights. It's very basic, and I actually really like using the buttons instead of the levers. I think it looks a lot nicer. And yes, I know there's a way to do it with just one button, but why would you do that? What's wrong with two buttons? You push the top one to turn it on, bottom one to turn it off. It just makes life easier. It's also a lot easier to set up than the single button method. But yeah, there it is. Here's another room right here. As you can see, this room is turned off. What even room is this? Oh, it's the other... okay. But yeah, that's what it looks like when they're turned off. No power. And this one right here is tied in with the main 4 zones, so that gets removed when I turn off, what is this? Yeah, level 3, since it is in the hallway. So that's basically it for redstone in this building. There's not much more to explain other than the fire alarm system, but I'm not going to really go in depth with that because I already did a video on how the systems work. If you want to go watch that, hit the link in the top right corner of the screen. That video showcases the exact panel and pretty much the exact same system build out that this management building has. Anyway though guys, as usual, if you enjoyed this video, be sure to like, comment, and subscribe if you haven't already. Big shout out to Brandon and New Age Server Alarm for helping me build this building. It came out incredible. Anyway though guys, until the next video, that is going to be it. Thank you for watching.